All right, everybody, welcome back to the Titans table for two in the two-tone blue. That's Andrew.
That's Christian.
And guys, it's week 4 of the NFL season, and the Titans, unfortunately, still looking for that first W. We got a little injury. Let's go ahead and talk about the injuries first. We've had a little bit of news this week for the first time of the season. A little bit of struggles with the injury bug. Man, it's finally caught up to us. Do you want to jump into that, Cheeto and L'Jarius Sneed, and even Amani Hooker? A couple of things going on in that defensive backfield for the Tennessee Titans.
Cheeto Awuzie has gone to IR, so he will miss the next 4 games. 4 weeks, to be confused with 4 games. L'Jarius popped up. He always rests on the first day of practice for like a veteran rest day, but he popped up later in the week, and it's questionable with a hamstring. Hopefully it's nothing to worry about because he is like the Tyreek stopper, so we kind of need him this week.
Be crucial this
Amani
week.
Hooker, yeah, absolutely. Amani Hooker, he had some stitches on his face. So he's questionable. I don't see him not playing. I think that's just a designation for him.
I think he'll go, especially with the other guys kind of being down.
Yeah,
I think they'll probably push. Yeah.
Hopefully Snead's back, but I mean, we'll see. But the biggest one for the Titans is Jeffrey Simmons. With his elbow. I mean, I saw him in the locker room. He had like the brace and the wrap on his elbow. He's doubtful for this game, and I'm not sure if they're just thinking like, go ahead and get him this week off, and then he has a bye week.
I'm
not sure. He's been like, I know he's been dealing with the elbow all season a little bit, but he is doubtful. I mean, it doesn't guarantee he's not going to play, but the percentages aren't great as somebody who's doubtful to get into this game. For the Dolphins, though, I mean, they got some people that are out too.
They got a long list of stuff, man, going on there.
Yeah. Teron Armstead, their starting left tackle, is out with a concussion. Kendall Fuller, who is their number 2 corner behind Jalen Ramsey, out with a concussion.
Yeah.
David Long, who we know well here, is doubtful with a hamstring. And then a lot of questionable guys, the biggest one being Raheem Mostert. Skylar Thompson's on there too, but
talk a little bit about the quarterback because that's the obvious one, with their injury troubles. So Tyler Huntley, man, a guy that has been backing up Lamar Jackson for the last few years. They picked him up off the Baltimore practice squad with the troubles with Tua. But former Pro Bowler, actually, a lot of people forget. I'd kind of forgotten about that, and we were talking about it. And people will bring up stuff with asterisks and stuff about the Pro Bowl. But I mean, if your name's brought up for the Pro Bowl ever, I don't care how you got there, what asterisk, who didn't go, what. You're a player. You're a player if your name's brought up for that. So, so talk a little bit about Huntley.
Yeah, Snoop Huntley, man. I mean, one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the league. There's a reason he was backing up Lamar Jackson because that offense doesn't change a ton. Obviously he's not Lamar Jackson, but he does. He has a 65% career completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, Pro Bowler, like you said. But what he brings is a lot of the problems that we saw with Malik is he can run. You got to put somebody on there to spy him, which they didn't do until like the second half. In the last game, you're going to have somebody that needs to watch him.
Well, he even still tore us up, though. I mean, he tore us up in the second half, too. I mean, it didn't stop, really, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the biggest thing for us is if Skylar Thompson was playing, you're not as worried about somebody taking off on you.
Yeah.
They have the skill players. They have a ton of speed on their offense. That's what the biggest –
Yeah, they're fast.
You think Dolphins, you think speed. The 2 running backs, whether it's A-Chain or Mostert, I know he's questionable for the game. But speed, both of them, top-end speed, amazing. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, 2 of the fastest receivers in the league. Tyreek Hill, the fastest player, if not, arguably. And then even, like, their tight end is Jonnu Smith, who we know well here. But for a tight end, fast, athletic,
Absolutely, yeah.
So tons of speed on their offense. And then they just add the speed to their quarterback position coming out. So it's going to be a challenge. For sure, especially if Snead can't go and Simmons is doubtful, So it's definitely a different offense with Skylar Thompson last week where they only put up 3 points and Snoop out there now for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier. I mean, especially the way we're struggling as well. And this will be the first week we really get a test with some injuries, so we'll see kind of how we are. I mean, this team is not deep. That's one of the things that I kind of was worried about in the beginning, even before all of our struggles the last 3 weeks, is that we're not a deep team necessarily,
Mhm.
really. Um, so injuries could really hurt us, in the right places on the depth chart. But we've seen what it's kind of can do to the offensive line almost immediately. I mean, good grief. We'll get to the offense though, but yeah. So we're really going to see what Tavondre Sweat can do a little bit this week if Jeff's not going. I know that's
He's
going to be
gonna have to
hard on
step up.
Jeff. Yeah, but I think if there's no reason to push Jeff in this game if he can't go. I think having this week and the bye week compounded with that is if that's what's best for him, that's probably what they'll do.
Yep.
I know how tough that is probably on Jeff to not go, but yeah, and hopefully Snead can get in there. I think that's a big one with Cheeto already being gone, and then some of the stuff like the defensive backfield, could be pretty thin. That's why I think Hooker will start. And I think Snead will go if he
Yeah, I
possibly
don't
can,
think
man.
a face injury is going to keep him out. I think whatever bandage or anything they need to put on him, they will.
Yeah, for
Yeah, Steve
sure.
is the big one because you're looking. I don't. There's probably obviously a drop off. I don't feel nearly as bad as a drop off from Cheeto to Jarvis Brownlee because I just think Jarvis is a dog.
Yeah,
Uh, but if you're going from, and I love Roger too, but you're going from Roger playing the slots and now he's going to be outside with Roger and Jarvis
yeah.
against Tyreek and Waddle, and then your
It's a whole
slot
different
guys,
game at that point,
Trey
man.
Avery, like Trey Avery getting called up or something, or Eric Garror or something like that coming up
Yeah,
to play the slot. You
it
know,
comes with a whole new set of challenges for sure, man. But their offense hadn't been super effective. Last week wasn't good. I mean, they're not too much better. I mean, they had 205 total yards, with 140 of those being passing. So they're not lighting the field up or anything. Only coming away with 3 offensive points last week. But the Titans haven't been good. So it may seem like an easy opponent on paper, but we've proven that we're not really up to task this year, unfortunately. So
it's
this
hard to
offense,
judge their offense because you know what they are with Tua. Tua, say what you
mhm,
want, but as accurate as they come almost. And
this has been so
obviously,
unpredictable and chaotic for them this year. You can't
yeah, it's
judge
hard
it
to put a number
properly.
on what their offense. And then obviously Skylar Thompson, he got hurt. Tim Boyle came in, nothing looked good. Two
Who?
quarterbacks, Tim Boyle
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm just kidding.
came in for Skylar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers' best friend, I think, is Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron loves that guy. But and then Snoop, who has been there a couple weeks. You look at it's similar to Malik in the sense of like, oh, he's only been there a couple weeks. How much has he really picked up? But then you're
Mhm.
going against. I'm not saying Mike McDaniel's Matt LaFleur, but he's a great offensive mind. So, two good offensive minds in similar situations with the quarterback who hasn't been there a while, who's mobile, who might have accuracy issues. Because you're even looking at what Tyler Huntley's last game was Week 17 last year when the Ravens didn't. They had everything locked up where they were going to be. He hasn't been super accurate. He was 15 for 28, so that's a 54% completion percentage, 146 yards and a touchdown. Um, so 8 rushes for 40 yards. I mean, looks similar to Malik. I imagine Mike McDaniel has a lot drawn up for him. I'm sure he's watching tape just like we're watching tape, seeing like what worked with Malik against us. What
Yeah,
can they do? So I
absolutely.
expect a lot of I expect a lot of motions. They're already one of the most motion teams in the league. They're right. Them and the Packers are top 2 in motions, pre-snap motions.
Yeah.
So I expect a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
movement
funny.
from
It's
their
funny
offense.
how deja vu kind of repeats itself in this Titans season. So in such a short season so far, we've seen such a pattern of things. Almost identical to our situation last week as far as the team and the
Yep.
offense and the quarterback and everything that we're going up against. Like you said, offensive
Yep.
mind, a new starter this week coming in from another team's practice squad. So, yeah, it's just interesting how it's been this year so far. But yeah, no block punts though.
Hey,
So
goals,
we did
goals.
we did get better just to touch on special teams for a touch there, man. So
Instead of giving the game away like we did the first 2 weeks, we actually just lost.
yeah, we just lost fair and square, yeah, to our third string quarterback. But yeah, so that'll kind of bring us, I guess, to the Dolphins' defense and flip sides to our offense.
Yeah, I
Another
mean,
tough turnover for Will Levis last week. He's under the microscope, of course. But another, I'm gonna borrow a phrase from another Titans podcast that I like a lot, and that's the Two Tone Blue podcast, the By God Pod is what he calls them. Um, and he said it best this week, man. He said if you're putting all of the blame on Will Levis for the Titans' struggles so far this season, you're letting a lot of people off the hook.
And we let him off the hook.
yeah.
You're absolving a lot of people of responsibility for their lack of execution on the field as well. So that just that's the best way to say it, I think, to me. It obviously Will Levis has made some terrible mistakes. Picks
Yeah,
are going to happen
absolutely.
though. Last week's pick is something that'll happen. It's a pretty bad pick, but
Yeah.
those happen to the best in the league sometimes. Okay, but you can't absolve everybody else from all responsibility from everything that's going on this year. He can't.
No,
He can't hardly have a clean pocket to work
I
under.
agree.
So
I mean, we've talked about it on previous episodes. Giving him a clean pocket, he executes at an elite level, just about. But I mean, part of being a quarterback is having composure under pressure, which he hasn't had.
mhm.
So that is something he needs to work on. But I mean, other than the boneheaded plays, you can't just put it all on Levis.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, and I mean,
What does he have to do
nothing.
with the block punch? You know?
Yeah, and not to exactly, and not to go back and I'm not trying to go back into ancient history here already, but and in that Jets game, that we talked about it. There was a Traylon Burks throw down the field that was put up there for him, and there was a catchable ball. So it's not all on
Yeah.
Levis. It's just been the offense as a whole. The offensive line has been dreadful, unfortunately, again this year. Um, so we're going up against the Dolphins defense. I mean, their numbers on paper don't represent themselves in the score on the scoreboard. They seem to
Yeah.
have a
They're
fairly good
similar to the
defense.
Titans, honestly.
Yeah, very similar because they're ranked
Top of
12th
the
on
league in most
passing and
defensive
rushing.
categories.
Yeah, they're 11th overall and they're 12th on rushing and passing. Now, points per game,
And
they're
they're
a little bit further down the chart.
towards the bottom of the league. Yeah. Same thing with the Titans. Now, I mean, I don't. It's hard to like look at that stuff and be like, oh, Titans are towards the bottom of the league in points allowed, but 2 pick sixes and blocked punt for a touchdown, and they don't justify that all in the rankings. But yeah, I mean it's very similar to the Titans. You're looking at their top, they're at least at 11th overall, and the Titans are 5th overall, I believe, in
Hmm.
total defense. Passing, once again, Titans are 3rd, and they're 12th. Rushing, they're 12th, and we're like middle of the pack somewhere after that horrible
Yeah,
performance against the Packers. Um, but we're both towards the bottom
very similar
in
story,
points per
man.
game.
We're almost
And they
identical.
have similar, like, Kendall Fuller's out for them, and we have Cheeto out. They had Jalen
Yeah,
Ramsey going, and hopefully the Jerry Sneed goes. But it's almost like looking in the mirror on the defense.
yeah. Well, we're going to see kind of what happens
Yep.
with that. Hopefully, that offensive line. I mean, the unfortunate things, I don't know if there's an answer besides NPF on our team on that right tackle
Yeah.
because the backup's not too much better. And then, I mean, I've seen guys, other fans out there calling for Titans to call on veteran linemen out there, that are sitting at home. But I mean, I got to imagine that's probably one of the harder positions to bring somebody in off the street for.
there's not just good offensive linemen. They'd be on a team if they were that good.
Exactly, I mean they always talk about football shape as compared to just being in good shape, right? And game shape as being different, So I mean, I just don't see. I mean, Nicholas Petit Ferrer, unfortunately, is gonna have to be our guy for right now. I mean, barring some crazy trade
to
that the
help him
Titans
out and hope
make,
he improves.
yeah, I mean, I don't think any trades coming down the line. I don't think there's a free agent that we'd rather have. Unfortunately, right now, I mean, like you said, if anybody's good, they're on a team right now. So unless
Yeah,
you can find
and they
some
have a
guy
good
on a
defensive
practice squad
front too. It's
somewhere,
hard.
go ahead.
It's tough because they have a really good defensive front too. You're looking at Zach Sealer up front and Calais Campbell and Jalen
Yep,
Phillips. They have Chop Robinson up there too. Like they have a
yep,
good rushing outside linebackers and defensive
yeah.
line. So I mean,
We're
Calais
familiar with
Campbell
that
is what
Calais Campbell too,
65
aren't we?
years old.
I was gonna say we're familiar with that big giant, aren't we?
Yeah. So
But yeah, it
I
doesn't
mean,
get any easier
it's
this
not going to
week,
be a
man.
walk in the.
Yeah,
What'd you
exactly. It
say?
doesn't get it. That's exactly. You said what I said pretty much. I said it's not going to get any easier this week. So um,
No. Well,
the Titans
and
got
they have a
to
good
come to
secondary
play
too with
eventually.
Jalen
So
Ramsey, Jordan Poyer out of Buffalo that went down there this year, Javon Holland. Like they have a good team. So
yeah,
I can see why their defensive rankings are up. I can't sit here and fake like I've watched every Dolphins game and why their points per game are up. But I mean, it's 4 good defenses in a row. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we knew from the beginning though that this first. I mean, the whole season really is tough on the Titans. It's a really tough schedule, and these first 4 games is probably. I mean, I would put it up there with the toughest start of any team this year. These first 4. It's a tough set of games.
I think
And they could have been
even before the
tougher if
season,
some
I
of these
think when you look at
quarterbacks
this,
didn't go down the last couple of weeks. If Jordan Love didn't get hurt and Tua had been all right this year, we had 2 even tougher tests. Uh, but we've proven it doesn't really matter because Malik Willis came in here and treated us like little junior pro
yeah,
teams.
I
So
think I think we looked at the schedule before the season, even said, "Hey, these 4 games are going to be telling."
yeah,
So
yeah,
obviously, giving the first 2 away and then getting beat against the third string
yeah,
quarterback of our own, it's not what we were looking for. But if we can go to the bye with 1 win and have some momentum, that's the
yeah.
best thing that can get for us at this
So
point.
how have
So
your feelings changed? How do you feel about Will Levis? There's still a lot of people calling in for the substitution, calling on Rudolph to come in, but I'm not sure. My thing is, if we're going to lose, I don't want Mason Rudolph coming in, or I don't want. Honestly, if it's going to be bad, let it be bad, because I don't want to win 7 games and be middle of the pack in the draft when we could have just. I'm not saying throw the season away. I'm just saying let him play. If it's
no,
going to be bad, let it be bad. There's no reason to come in after being if we're 0-6 or something to
no, yeah, I agree.
I just
I,
assume let the season carry out with Levis how it's going to. I'm not saying
yeah, I
tank the
agree. I think
season. It's you know
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, I want to go to the playoffs as much as anybody, you know. But I think like we said, the season was all about finding out what Will Levis is, and
yeah,
he definitely has some things to clean up. Like I said, composure in the pocket and feeling the pocket and knowing where he should move up and stuff like those are things he needs to work on for sure. Like feeling the pressure and stuff like that. Obviously, help from the offensive line would be great. But you need to like the biggest thing this year is to know if Will Levis is your guy or not.
yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a massive fan of like not getting to the draft already of the quarterback class coming out, but you still just for the Titans this season ride or die with Will Levis.
I agree. I think you have to ride or die with Will Levis just because you gotta see what becomes of a full season with him. I think, and you gotta see what he's got. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this Titans team is as good as we had all hoped. That offensive line is not giving him much of a chance. Is the unfortunate thing. We're still not really
You know,
seeing what he's got in a way. So it's looking like a tough season with that O line, man. They're struggling. So I'm hoping that they kind of come together and figure some things out as the season goes along and it gets better. But we're going to have to see.
Well, what I'm hoping to see this week, obviously, I mean, Brian said we've talked about Brian Callahan's new too, and so he's learning on the go as well. I'd like to see some quicker passes to prevent, like, to counteract the O line giving up pressure. Maybe get the ball out of his hands, screens, slants, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, we'll see. I think Brian Callahan's still the guy for the team. I know people have been calling for his head too, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
But it's overreactions. There's always going to be a part of the fan base that overreacts to everything.
And it's hard not to sometimes. We love our team.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So
especially in the moment, Like, you give yourself a day, calm down.
Yeah, I understand why people do it, man. But so I guess let's get to some of the key players we think will be crucial this week. Let's get one on offense and defense, man.
I think an easy one for defense is T'Vondre Sweat. With Simmons being out, he's going to have to be that guy. You're not going to have your brother in arms with you this week. So he's going to have to step up for sure. So T'Vondre Sweat's my one on defense. Offense, I mean, I think it's going to be MPF with him starting. Show some kind of improvement. That's all we can ask at this point is show us you can do something. Don't look like a turnstile out there.
Don't embarrass us.
I'm gonna take the obvious ones. Yeah, MPF and Sweat.
Okay.
Who you got?
So I'm gonna actually repeat one from last week. I think it was actually on defense and go Roger McCreary again. I think he might be crucial this week. We talked about it a little bit, especially if Snead's not ready to go and Cheeto being down. Roger McCreary is going to be my key player for defense. He's going to be crucial, and he's going to have to come to play this week. And I think he will, man. Roger McCreary he might be my favorite. He might be my favorite player on this Titans defense currently. I love him, man. He's just always there. I like the underdogs. People don't talk about him nationally too much, So he's one of those sneaky good guys, man. So Roger McCreary is my key player on defense, and I'm going to piggyback you, man. That's what I was going to say as well. I think that's where if you're a Titans fan and you know the team, that's where you're looking is the right tackle spot. And it's so funny that everybody talks so much about the left tackle this year, and how there was these experts that thought the Titans were crazy for putting J.C. Latham over on the left side, and that's turned out to be a pretty good decision, and it's the right tackle that's been the concern, which we knew that right side was questionable this year, but I just thought it was funny that national media was all over that left tackle spot all year. That's what they kind of harped on, and then
if you take something from that like the left side, like the positive, like how good Latham has looked on the left side.
He's progressed every week. It seems like he's gotten better. He's had a couple bad reps here and there, but
the first game was a little rough, but overall, the last two games have been great.
Yeah, absolutely. And NPF has just had some embarrassing snaps, man. Just absolutely embarrassing.
It was rough.
But yeah, those are my two key players. So we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully the Titans get their dub, man, and we'll see what happens.
I believe we will.
Yeah, I guess it'll bring us to a final bite. Oh, yeah, let's do predictions first before the final bite. Yeah, go ahead. What score you got, and what do you think the score is going to say down there in Miami about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern time on Monday night?
I'm going to say 20-13 Titans. We're going to finally get the W, 2013 Titans.
Okay. All right, so I'm close to that. I had 21-14. And I'm just I got to keep believing, man. I love my Titans.
Yeah,
even when they lose, man, I love being a Titans fan, man, and I love them. It's tough sometimes, but hey, I love them, and I'm been tickled ever since they got here in Nashville about almost 30 years ago now. So we're gonna ride or die. I'm going Titans 21-14 in Miami this week. So hopefully we get our first W, man. We need to go into the bye with a positive, and then hey, man, you get a couple more wins out of the bye, man, we're 500.
We
So
got Colts right after the bye. I think that's definitely a winnable game.
there's still a chance to turn this thing around. We still got New England on the schedule coming up and stuff. So we still could turn it around, man.
Yeah.
Percentages and chances are not in our favor, but hey, crazier things have happened, man. So we've got a lot of faith in this team and hoping that they can kind of figure something out and turn it around, man.
Yeah, for sure. And that'll bring us to our final bite. So what do you have for your final bite this week?
My final bite, I'm going to make a prediction this week. We've been losing the turnover battle crazy this year. And by losing the turnover battle, I mean we've forced none. 0. Big old goose egg in the first 3 weeks. So I'm going to predict that the Titans get their first interception this week.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who. I don't know who, but it's going to be one of them. Maybe Ernest Jones gets a pick this week. How about that? I'll throw a wild name out there.
Hey, I'd love that. Okay, my final bite is going to be on the defense side of the ball as well. T'Vondre Sweat records his first sack. His first career sack comes this week.
Meatloaf!
Meatloaf is going to bring Snoop Huntley down to the ground once this week. So that's my final bite.
Man, that'd be cool to see Meatloaf get an interception, wouldn't it?
And dude, man, that guy with the ball, I want to see him do some of the play like Jeff Simmons had last year where he scores a touchdown.
Yeah, I want to see T'Vondre Sweat score a touchdown. Yeah,
I can't imagine what kind of dance he would do.
Yeah, it's been rough on the turnovers this year, so I hope we start doing something with that. It's been part of our battle, I think, this year. I think if we could force a little bit more of those, we might win some games, man. So we'd have to turn them into points, though. So that's the hard part.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll be able to see if those predictions come true live in White House at All Seasons Grill. We're going to be there doing our live broadcast, our live watch-along party. For the Monday Night Football game against the Dolphins. They have great food. They have great specials. They'll have some giveaways for you. But we're going to be there live. You can catch us there. Come watch the game with us and eat some great food,
Yeah, man. It's going to be fun, dude.
It's going to be really fun, man. So tell your friends, come see us, come have a great time. And in the meantime, make sure you like our video, subscribe. Tell your
comment
friends,
down below. Tell us
your predictions.
And you know what? Hey, another thing I want to say, man, welcome all Dolphins fans, too, by the way, if you found us. We appreciate you guys checking us out just as well. Like any opponents that we have this year that happen to check our videos out, man, I appreciate you guys as well, man. Thank you for checking us out.
We want to beat you, but we're very welcoming as well.
Yeah, we're happy to have you, man. We're just just wanted to put that out there as well. That all people are welcomed here. If you're Dolphins fans, whatever team we come across this year, I appreciate you guys just as much as the Titans fans. Everybody, let us know what they think the score will be. Give us your predictions down below. Maybe some key players you think on either team. If you're a Dolphins fan, let us know who you think is going to be key players for you guys, man. Let us know that stuff down there. Tighten up that like button. And subscribe if you've enjoyed some of what you see. We got a lot more coming your way this year. And we'll catch you guys after the game. We're going to do a recap and a live watch-along, so we'll be with you here in the next couple of days for sure. And look out, we got our top 5 defensive players of all time for the Tennessee Titans dropping as well a day after you're catching this one. So check us out, and we'll be with you after the game, man, and during the game.
Yep, and that's Christian.
That's Andrew.
And you'll catch us in White House at All Seasons Grill on Monday. And before that, we're going to need a check, please.
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, baby.